If we take into consideration the cost of mental health review boards, mental health authorities, cost of treatment in outpatient and inpatient settings, the rehabilitation services, which is equally important, long term sheltered homes for homeless people with mental illnesses, and also about the economic cost of, let's say, if a person commits suicide or attempted suicide is there, then the total cost is around 94,073 crores in 1 year, and which is like a staggering number. If you look into the budget that was allocated in year 2019, it was rupees 40 crores, and we are looking at 94,000 crores. And you'll be surprised to know that earlier in 2018, the budget allotted was almost 50 crores. So it came down from 50 to 40 crores. What was even more surprising is that only 5 crores of this amount was actually spent for the mental health care activities.
I think, Doctor, do you feel like this is just a sort of a COVID assisted boom that we're suddenly seeing so much startups in the healthcare system and all, or, what are your thoughts on that?
No, actually not. These apps and these startups had been working for a very long time now. Yes, there was a kind of a push given to them, and they started kind of handling more number of people or clients, I should say, who kind of came forward and utilized their services. But the number of cases have increased, yes, but they were working prior to that. So these startups were aware about the mental health care needs. Due to COVID, somehow something good happened, and the government immediately rolled down a regulation regarding the telepsychiatry and telemedicine practices. They kind of laid down what all medicines you can write, what all medicines you cannot write, which was never there earlier. At Sukoon, we utilized this image as soon as the government approved it, and even during the lockdown, we were just doing the calls. We were not allowing the patients to come into the hospital setup until unless there was an emergency, because in emergency we cannot stop them.
Doctor, towards just the end of the podcast, I wanted to bring in the idea on some family unit focused questions, which is obviously in India, us Gen Z millennials, a lot of us still live with our parents. And what's happened during COVID-19 is that, there's just there's been no barrier, and we've all been together in one household, which could cause a lot of trauma, or maybe even like more altercations, and everyone is sort of stuck indoors, and there exists a fundamental language barrier among family units, and there's no sort of very healthy translation that exists on the other side. As our parents' age and their upbringing, their exposure to the world has not been what a millennial Gen Z has been faced through. So if you can help our listeners sort of understand right now, because a lot of them would come under the family units, joint family construct, on what within our family units can we be doing more than so ever to create a more healthy relationship with our family, or sort of try to speak openly about mental health. How do we even start the dialogue to say?
What you can kind of keep in mind while discussing these mental health issues is that don't be rushed about discussing any mental health issue. You cannot force anyone to talk about their mental health issue, but be consistent in your approach. Definitely you cannot talk about in a place where they don't feel privacy, or the safety. So choose a very quiet, comfortable place to discuss about the mental health issues. Pick any method of communication that works for you and feels, sometimes even living under the same roof, maybe you can use just a text message just to say hello, because we are all in different rooms, behind closed doors. Just say hello to each other if you can't physically reach out to them. If you're not sure what to say, just be honest and inquire if they are okay. I mean, just ask them, are they okay or not? Let them know that you care and you are concerned about their well-being, and you have to allow them to kind of come forward and discuss their problems. You cannot pressurize them into that. you have to definitely be non-judgmental. You don't understand the illness, be very upfront about it, but you cannot be at the same time judgmental about it. And also, in just one conversation, you cannot expect a lot of information. So just give it some time. At least you have allowed the person to open up, and that is good enough.
If you enjoyed this snippet, you can find the full podcast on our Spotify, Hubhopper, JioSaavn, Apple, and Google podcast channels. Just search for Dialogue Now and follow.